Hey, Mike with Nerd Problems Gaming here, and today's video will be doing a review on Whisper Mountain Outbreak, so let's get into it. Now, Whisper Mountain Outbreak is a pixel art survival horror game that feels like a combo of retro Resident Evil games mixed with some co-op survival horror games like the Left 4 Dead series, as well as some escape room elements thrown into the mix on top of that. And the game takes place in 1998 after a mining operation disrupts an ancient ruin that ends up releasing monsters and zombie-like creatures across the land. And you'll play as different members of a special agency that needs to work together to try and escape the monster-filled mountain by scavenging supplies, crafting items, solving puzzles, and fighting hordes of infected creatures. And so to start off the game, you'll want to choose whether you're going to be playing in solo or co-op mode, and you'll start off by choosing one of multiple different hero types, each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses. And this can be a variety of things like having extra health, less stamina, enhanced weapons, superior healing, maybe slower movement, reduced health, and much more. And so you'll need to decide which character type suits your playstyle best. And so once you've chosen your character and assembled your party, you'll choose from a variety of missions to explore. And this is where the meat of the gameplay really takes place. And so each level has more of an isometric bird's eye view to it, and you and your team will need to explore the map to discover weapons, supplies, and other essential items, and then also make it back to your truck alive after completing the mission objectives. And so throughout these runs, you'll be encountering a variety of enemy types, with a basic zombie being the most prevalent, but also there's some more intense, boss-like monsters that you'll encounter along the way as well. And so for the most part, it has that suspenseful survival horror feel as you'll be exploring different rooms and various monsters can jump out around every corner. But then it also cycles between different horde attacks where you'll need to fend off a steady stream of enemy attacks for a certain period of time. And this is where I felt like it had that Left 4 Dead-like feel. And so to help you defeat these enemies, you'll be able to choose from a variety of weapon types that you find along the way. Some of them are melee focused and others are gun based, but then there's even explosive types as well. And so as you scavenge, you'll be finding different items like handguns, axes, baseball bats, shotguns, grenades, and even Molotov cocktails. And each one of these really have their own unique playstyle and ammo types to them. And so this will really cause you to be strategic with what weapons you decide to keep and how much ammo you can collect within your limited inventory. Another element that makes combat quite intense is that you have a limited stamina bar. And so you'll only be able to run so much or take so many melee swings before you get too tired and become completely vulnerable for a short period of time. And so with this in mind, you really need to be strategic to balance your stamina and your melee attacks, while also running away from certain enemies and using more ranged elements like guns that don't use your stamina if you hope to survive. And like I said, it has a similar feel to the classic Resident Evil series where you'll be able to collect different herbs and combine them to create powerful healing items for your characters. And with this in co-op mode, you'll also be able to work together to revive downed members in your party, which can sometimes make solo mode a bit more challenging. Whereas if you die once, you'll be revived back at the base and have to start the level all over. Another element that felt similar to the classic Resident Evil games is that you'll need to collect a variety of special items to progress throughout the levels, as well as solve basic puzzles to reach certain rooms. So for example, there's some times where you're going to need to enter different key codes on computers from IDs that you'll find scattered throughout the level on different victims' bodies. And other times it's solving more grid-based puzzles where you'll have to enter correct button presses based on different codes that you'll find scattered throughout rooms in the level. And this again can make it a little bit more challenging in solo mode, where for example you might need to memorize a code and the positioning and go back and forth a few times, especially if you make mistakes. Whereas in multiplayer mode, you could potentially have one player sit at the place where they need to enter the code and then have the other person sit at the puzzle hint itself and feed the other player the instructions. On top of that, there's also a cool lockpicking mechanic that felt very similar to the Elder Scrolls series, where you'll need to perfectly time the different lock mechanisms as they go up and down. if you hope to unlock doors. And this can also be quite challenging as the enemies can continue to attack you even when you're disarming these locks. So in solo mode, for example, you probably need to clear all the enemies on screen before attempting these locks, or if you're playing multiplayer mode, you could have your other teammates watch your back when you're trying to unlock these doors. Another part that I really enjoyed with the game is that it does have some light RPG elements where in between levels you can actually upgrade various options for your characters. And so this can be things like enhancing and adding to your inventory slots, increasing your max health and stamina, or even adding new skills like enhanced healing abilities, improved gun and explosive handling, increased melee abilities, crafting items for future runs, and much more. And along with this, after you clear the missions, it'll give you the opportunity to unlock new areas to explore throughout the overall scenario. And this gives you a bit of flexibility with how you approach the game as well, as it isn't strictly linear. And once you beat the first mission, you'll get multiple missions at once that you can explore. And so this gives you various options to choose from at how you want to approach the game. Along with this, there's even different mission objectives where some of the times you might be trying to find a specific item or piece of gear, and others are even more challenging where you'll be needing to clear the level and find the various objectives in a limited time window. That part was a little bit frustrating for me in solo mode, as often there's a huge map to explore in some of these areas, and it's really hard to cover it all in that limited time window. And I think this would definitely be a lot easier in multiplayer mode. But overall, I think the game plays really well in both solo mode and co-op mode. But with that said, I do feel like that it was really designed to be ideally played in multiplayer and played as a group. As often I found I had way too many resources to carry at once and ended up leaving items behind in many of the levels, where I think if you have multiple team members with you at once, you can evenly spread out the load of resources so each person can really feel well equipped. Plus, some of the different room types that you need to access will require multiple items. And so as a solo player, you have to take up almost your entire inventory with some of these items before you're able to unlock certain doors. And so that can be extra challenging as well, where if you're playing in multiplayer mode, you could split those required resources among various different players. In multiplayer mode, you also have the option to revive some of your fallen teammates, whereas in solo mode, as I mentioned earlier, if you die, you end up getting sent back to your base and need to redo the level entirely. The game does have multiple difficulty modes, which can further add to the replay value, but I will say even on lower difficulty modes, some of the later levels are still pretty challenging. So definitely choose wisely when you're choosing the difficulty setting. One small gripe is I do wish that the game had the ability to swap weapons quickly without having to go into your menu every single time, especially when the gameplay doesn't stop when you do this. Now I know that this is trying to give you a more retro feel like some of the old school Resident Evil games, but at the same time with those games, when you did go into the menu, it did actually stop the action. Whereas in this game, as I said, it doesn't do that. So you really need to make sure that you have a good distance away from enemies if you're trying to swap weapons, or make sure that you've cleared the room entirely before trying to do so. But outside of that, I really enjoyed this game, and I think if you like old school survival horror games and co-op zombie games like Left 4 Dead, you'll enjoy this game as well. But I had a great time with it, and I definitely recommend it. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you played this game before? Are there other great survival horror games I should check out? It's one of my favorite genres, so let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. And another cool way you can help support the channel is we actually partnered with a company, recroomworld.com, that makes virtual pinball machines and more. And so if you'd like to check out the ultimate virtual pinball experience, I would definitely recommend checking out their Ultra VP virtual pinball machine. I have one myself. I play it all the time and it's been a blast. And they were actually willing to give our viewers a special discount on ordering one of these units. And so if you'd like to learn more about one of these or order a unit, you can actually head to nerdproblemsgaming.com/virtual pinball machine to learn more. And if you'd like to order one and get a special discount of $100 off, simply use Nerd Problems Gaming in the referred by section on the checkout page, and you'll get $100 off your order and help support our channel at the same time. So again, if you did want to take advantage of that, And check out these awesome virtual pinball machines, simply head there as well. And if you like videos like this on video games, board games, and everything nerdy, check out one of our other videos here. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.